Hello everyone, this is Melissa from Hopeful Happenings, and I'm here to tell you 5 mistakes that I see in new writers. A lot of editing with other people's manuscripts, and I'm also a writer myself, so I have 5 things that I've noticed that are very common mistakes with new writers, and they're even common mistakes in experienced writers, but here's what they are and how to avoid them. Number 1 is changing the point of view accidentally. When you write a book, you want to make sure that you have chosen what point of view you want to do. Third person omniscient, first person, whatever it's going to be, and then you have to stick with it. That doesn't mean that you don't get to switch between different characters like Game of Thrones, for example, but it does mean that if you've chosen for this scene or this chapter or even this book to stay with a certain character, you have to make sure that you're not flip-flopping between their different minds. For example, let's use Harry Potter because everybody knows Harry Potter. Harry Potter is written in the perspective of Harry Potter, even though it's third person. So we're seeing the world from Harry Potter's point of view. This would be a bad example of how you can accidentally switch point of views in the middle of your writing. Harry looked at Ron. "Why did you say that?" said Harry. "I don't know," said Ron, feeling embarrassed. This is a problem because we know that this is Harry's perspective, and yet here we have Ron feeling embarrassed. We don't know that he feels anything because we are not Ron. However, we can infer that he's embarrassed by his actions. So this would be the correct way to say this. Harry looked at Ron. "Why did you say that?" Ron blushed. "I don't know." Do you see the difference? You have to be careful that you're not showing what other characters are feeling if you are not in that person's mind. Number 2, complicated names. This includes names of characters, names of places. If we have a hard time pronouncing the name, then we're going to have a hard time remembering the name, and that's just not going to go well. If you need a pronunciation guide with your book, then you probably want to reconsider some of the names you're using. Number 3, overusing adverbs. Timidly, quietly, softly, loudly, angrily. There are better ways to describe your characters. Let me show you an example. Which one of these sounds better to you? "You're late," he said angrily. Or, he folded his arms and frowned. "You're late." It's the second one, right? We don't just understand what's going on by the ly word, angrily. We're seeing him being angry. Number 4 is not using said enough. When I was first writing, had the impression that said is dead, that we needed to use more creative words, I guess is the right way to say it. So I would do shouted, roared, belched, I don't know, I just kept thinking of all these different ways to describe the way people were talking instead of just saying said. Fortunately, said is not dead. It's actually better to use said than all of these other kind of words to describe. Because if you use too many descriptive words, your readers will get lost and they'll find that they're skipping over things to just get through it. So you do want to use said, and if you can help it, try not even to use a dialogue tag at all, because sometimes it's better just to have the dialogue without any he said, she said. But you have to be careful that you don't mix up who's talking when you do that. And for our last one, holding back information from the reader. This is a huge mistake that even experienced writers make because they think that the suspense comes from not knowing information. Well, guess what? It doesn't. Suspense comes from the information that we do know, from knowing everything that we could possibly know, because then we have more interest in what's going on. Let me give you one last example to show you what I mean. Let's say I'm writing a book about vampires. I do not want to end the chapter by saying the vampire came up to the girl and his fangs were just above her neck. A better way to end this chapter would be that he bit her, because then I actually really want to go to the next chapter to find out, did she die? Did she become a vampire? Is she immune? What's going to happen? So I'll say this again. Suspense comes not in holding back information, but in the information that you give. So there you go, guys. That's 5 common mistakes that I see in new writers. I hope it helps you out with your writing. Good luck. Let me know in the comments below if you liked this video and what else you would like to see. You can follow my journey of writing my first novel at my Instagram account, which is linked below. And make sure you subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye!